Welcome. My name is Madison. I am a reader of horrors, thrillers, anything weird, anything dark. If it is disturbing, I am probably a fan of it. If you're coming from my other socials, you probably know me as Madison Can Read. I thought for my very first YouTube video, I would do a quick little get to know me and tell you all of the books that I feel truly define my taste. For starters, I am a wife, I'm a mother, I'm married to my very best friend, I have 2 small children, I am a stay-at-home mom, so I am overstimulated almost all of the time, which I feel reading really helps me keep my peace. I do just want to preface this by saying if you are a longtime watcher of mine, this video might feel a little bit repetitive as I do talk about these books quite often. Let's start off with the weird books with really strong feminist vibes. We have All's Well by Mona Awad. Really anything by Mona Awad. She is one of my favorite authors, and I understand that she's not going to be for everyone, but it's just something about her writing. I feel like she just really goes there. This one is my favorite. We follow a theater director named Miranda who is really struggling with chronic pain, and she goes to doctor after doctor. No one seems to listen to her until one day she meets 3 strangers in a bar. Something crazy happens and she gets really whatever she wants. And then she starts taking out revenge as well. I think this is a perfect novel. It's really hard for me to take criticism on it. I can understand someone not vibing with Mona Awad's writing, but no. Merciless Waters by Ray Knowles. This one is a hidden gem. I feel like more people should read it. You follow an all-female pirate crew who are set out at sea. All of these women can't remember their past. They just remember being on the boat, but this man threatens to really unravel everything. There is a certain scene in this book, right at the climax. It lives with me. It lives in my brain rent-free. Tattoo it onto my body. Also, that cover is stunning. Goddess of Filth by B. Castro is one of my favorite books that I have read in the last couple of years. You follow a group of teenagers trying to perform a seance. One of them ends up becoming possessed. That's a big theme you will see with me. I love possession stories if done well. This one, Come Closer, Suburban Hell, you name it, I am probably a fan of it. Boy Parts by Eliza Clark is a book I don't talk about often enough. It follows a photographer named Irina who is obsessed with taking provocative photos of young men, and she really begins to spiral. She is a vile main character. She is not a main character you're rooting for, but at the end of the day, this has one of my favorite endings I have ever read. I think this story is very unique. It's not going to be fast-paced or anything like that. It actually took me quite a while to finish this book, but it is one that truly will stick with you. And one of my favorite books of all time, would tattoo this on my body for the rest of time, put it on my tombstone, Night Bitch by Rachel Yoder. Much like the dedication says, it's for Rachel Yoder's mom, but it is for all the moms. Most of you probably already know what this one is about, seeing as it is a movie starring Amy Adams, but an artist turned stay-at-home mom believes she's turning into a feral dog. Rachel Yoder actually mentions in the author's note that she doesn't have kids, and I can't believe how well she did, really portraying the raw, unfiltered early days of motherhood, especially in those toddler years. I can't really say enough good things about this book. I understand if people don't like it, but that is not me. It is a masterpiece in my opinion. Moving on to thrillers, I actually got into a lot of heat because I said Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter is going to be considered a classic, and it made a lot of people really angry. And I don't care. You follow a woman named Claire who on the day of her husband's funeral is going through his computer and finds some very disturbing images. Now this leads her to think, could her husband possibly be involved in all the missing women in the area? It's brutal, it's dark, much like everything Karen Slaughter writes. It is really hard to stomach at times, but so well done. My first 5-star book of 2025 was Little Secrets by Jennifer Hillier. I have no idea why this isn't her most popular book. I think it is by far her best. A woman is in a busy shopping center with her 4-year-old son, lets go of his hand for 1 minute, and he is gone. And then later on, they look at security footage and sees him walking out hand in hand with Santa Claus and a lollipop in his hand, and this book had my heart in my throat. I do have a 4-year-old son, so it hit really close to home. It's my worst nightmare. But not only that, it is so incredibly well written. Had me on the edge of my seat. I truly didn't know what was going on. Now imagine my embarrassment when I found out I had been yapping for over 10 minutes without realizing my mic was not working. So different day, different outfit, different me. And let's go. Let's get into it. To be honest, I don't know the last thing I said, but moving on, we have one of my favorite books of all time, My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. You follow 15-year-old Vanessa who gets into this very predatory relationship with her 40-something-year-old teacher, and this is told to you in Vanessa's point of view when she is 15, and again when she's, I want to say, 26. It really shows just how damaging these horrifically predatory relationships can be and can do to a person. I love this book so much. I love the audiobook. It is narrated by Grace Gummer, which is Meryl Streep's daughter. It was perfectly narrated, and it is one that really sticks with me, and it is such a devastating book and one that will stick with me for the rest of my life. The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. I know a lot of people have issues with his writing style. That is not the case for me at all. I find he has such a unique voice, and he has a way of adding in jump scares. I get pushback anytime I say that. I have an active imagination, so we'll call it that. But you can add jump scares into a book, and I think Stephen Graham Jones is the best one to do it. Not only do I love The Only Good Indians, I loved Night of the Mannequins, which is a novella. I Was a Teenage Slasher, My Heart is a Chainsaw. I really enjoy his writing. Oh, and Mongrels as well, which is behind me somewhere. Tender as a Flesh by Agustina Bastarrica is one of my favorite books of all time, and I really owe it to this book because it is the thing that made me dive headfirst into the horror genre, and now I am literally obsessed with it. But you are set in a post-apocalyptic world where animal meat is poisonous for humans to consume, and the government has created legalized cannibalism. Now, there are a lot of rules when it comes to it, but human beings are basically bred to become meat, and you follow a man who works for a packaging facility. He seems to really struggle with what he's doing, and one day his boss gives him a gift in the form of special meat. It's a woman. Not allowed to fraternize, or not allowed to basically treat like a human these special meat, and he does, and he ends up doing that. Part of me does believe that the hype surrounding this book really ruins it for people who are reading it now. Can't really attest to that. I read it right when it came out, but it is one of my favorite books of all time. I think it says so much, and a lot of people are like, it's not that disturbing, but I think what it does instead is it really shows you what we will allow for human beings to go through, and even animals as well. But then you draw the line, and a lot of people hate there's a specific scene with animal cruelty that everyone draws the line at, but you're not really thinking twice about the human beings that are treated basically like how we treat cattle in today's world. I just love this book. I think it is a masterpiece. I think it will be considered a classic. Again, people get really angry when I say that, but that's what I think. My Husband by Maud Ventura. You follow a woman deeply obsessed with her husband. She begins to completely spiral because she feels like he is pulling away from her. I am she is me, okay? And I'm actually nothing like this, but I love her so much. There's a certain scene regarding a pineapple and a clementine that lives in my head rent-free. I think about it constantly. It is such just perfect insanity. I can't really explain it too much. The ending of this book is also just chef's kiss. Out of everything I'm talking about today, Any Man by Amber Tamlin is the most disturbing. You follow the victims of a female serial rapist named Maud, and you go over their point of views as they are coping with this horrific attack, and the assault is on page, so make sure to know that before going into it. It is a tough read. And finally, The Devil in Silver by Victor Laval. You follow a man wrongfully incarcerated into this mental institution, and he believes that there is some sort of beast haunting him and the rest of the residents. Now, he can't figure out, is this all in his head? Other residents can see it too. This has very subtle horror elements, but I think it really speaks to a bigger picture and just how stigmatized our mental health institution is and how we treat people with mental illnesses. And honestly, how men, specifically Black men, don't get the mental health help that they definitely need. So do yourself a favor and read this. Now, I don't know how to make an outro. Please like and subscribe, and I will love you forever. Thank you so much.